Good morning. This is Steve. You're looking down at the south end of Lake Tahoe in California, just a bit east of San Francisco. Beautiful area of California. This is a small airport there called KTVL South Tahoe Municipal Airport, I think it's called. And today we're going to do a trip. I just want to jump over here to from Lake Tahoe over to Manden-Tahoe, which is right over here on the other side of the mountains. And we're going to do it in a kind of special aircraft. First of all, I want to announce that this is episode 1 of a series of episodes I intend to do demonstrating a flight in each of my aircraft in my hangar. My friend Brad did a similar single episode where he walked around all of his favorite aircraft and talked about their characteristics and showed some of their qualities. And I'm going to go a little bit further with that idea and do an actual flight in each of my aircraft, starting off with the one I'm doing today. The reason it's such a short flight is because it's such a short aircraft. What we're going to be flying today is a glider, but a very special glider. That's not me sitting there, but I will be shortly. It's a very special glider, and I want to show you why. If we go inside and we go down here to the key, flip that on, I'll go back outside. You hear some bumping and whirring going on. That is the sound of what makes this airplane quite special. It has a motor driven by a couple of lithium-ion batteries that enable this airplane to take off on its own and fly up to 10,000 feet for about 13 minutes before the battery wears down. I've actually charged up the battery. You can do that very easily. It has a little Honda battery that fits in the back. So we're pretty much ready to go here. I just want to go ahead and close the canopy. And we can turn on our Garmin 550 navigation screen. While that's going, yeah, there it comes. We've got a route already established, so we'll basically follow that line heading over to KMEV. Now, right here is a gauge that will tell us, when I turn that little green thing there, that'll tell us when we're in a rising or falling column of air. You'll hear a little sound emanate from that device. Over here is a variometer, and that red dial, we hope to always see it in the upper portion above 0 because that tells us we're in a rising column of air, which we will need in order to get across the mountains. This is our speed dial right here, and that's about it. Not a whole lot more complicated than that. There's a joystick down here, and there's some other things. This is a release for the cable. Over here is the trim devices and ailerons and so forth. Pretty simple operation, but what's really tricky about it is taking off, as you will probably see. So what I'm going to do first is pause this video and save this section of it so that if I want to, I could come back and start again without losing this initial portion of the video. So just hang in here for a second and I will be back to you shortly. Okay, ready to roll here. Start putting some power onto the prop. First thing I need to do is turn the park brakes off. So I'm going to apply power to the propeller and it will start the aircraft rolling. The wings will eventually level out. The nose will drop. We'll get up to about 80 knots and slowly get it up in the air. That's the ideal. Let's see if we can do it. No guarantees. Okay, we're underway. Wings are up. we're off. Gear up. Flaps up. And our little telltale is starting to indicate a rising column of air, some of which is provided by the motor. We're at about 6,200 feet, and in order to get over that hill, that range right there to the right, we really should get up around 9,500, 10,000. So I'm just going to leave the motor on for a while, maybe do some circling around as we gain altitude. And our ideal would be to get up to that altitude with this gauge right here indicating maybe 50%, which gives us something to play with later on as we approach Manden-Tahoe. See if we can find a thermal over here over these houses. Yeah, there we go. The airport. That's the sound we like to hear. Looks like the Tahoe ski area. Usually when you see the nose bob up like that, that means your rising column is ended. '82. There's our battery gauge right there. So we've got a little ways to go. So we're going to ride this thing just a little bit further. There's 10,000. advantage of this. Went ahead and shut down the prop and stow it back in its compartment back in the tail. And there we are. So we're at 10,800. If we can catch any more updraft, we can just fly straight across that ridge. There we go. A little bit above 11, that's nice. That gives us a little bit of room to play with. Now we've got a full tank, a full ballast tank of water aboard, which increases our gliding distance. We haven't got that far to go today, so we're not going to have to glide that far. So when we get over this ridge, we'll go ahead and drop some of that ballast. And you want all of it gone before you land. You can't take long cases outside this aircraft. Things happen real fast. You can lose it in a flash. You don't want to let this speed indicator get below that end of that green area there, or that's stall territory. So you got to keep your airspeed up. And sometimes the way to keep your airspeed up is to go down. So it's kind of like skiing. In order to go down, you got to lean downhill. And in this case, in order to keep your airspeed up, you got to fly down. And when there's a mountain like this in front of you, that can be a little disconcerting. But then you hit a thermal, and all of a sudden you're soaring, which is what we're doing right now. As we cross over this ridge line. And sometimes you can fly these ridge lines and you get a nice thermal effect as the air comes rising up the side of the mountain. So we're up here at about 11.6. And our destination is down in that valley. Nominal altitude 4,700 feet. And you can see it on the chart there, that red dot. And I checked the weather and it looks like we're going to want to land to the south. So we want to just fly over that way and see if we can head a little bit to the north and come in to the south. So as we descend, we start to pick up speed. And so what I'm going to do is jettison some of our water. Actually, I'll do that when we get a little closer, just give ourselves the benefit of that ballast while we need it, or can use it. Alright, so we'll start to put the nose down. You'll see the speed increase, and that means we want to put on our little speed brakes. The speed brakes are out on the ends of the wings. You can't quite see it here. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, you can just see it pop up. Let me try another view. Yeah, there you go. Those are the speed brakes. And they will do a pretty good job of keeping the aircraft from getting out of hand as it descends. Now, our airport is right over here. So what I'm going to do is come around this area, and runway is 16. We'll do a nice big slow circle. Get ourselves down to about 6,500. 67. That gives us 2,000 feet to play with. Lake Tahoe International is up in that area a little bit. This is flying by the seat of your pants, even on your desktop. You don't feel the wind and the little gusts and things that hit the aircraft, but you feel quite a bit. .160 is what we want? 160. So we're at 348 now. And getting down around 79. So I'm going to go ahead and jettison some of that water. See that go out here. So we'll just go ahead and let it all go. That will shorten our glide distance, but it will help us stabilize the aircraft as we land, keep it from going too fast. And you can see our speed decrease a little bit as that ballast goes out of the aircraft, so I'm trimming our speed brakes just a little bit to compensate for that. Okay, we got 6,800 feet. I'm going to make our slope turn here to the right. Bring the gear down. Notch your flaps. Right, looks like we got a... Now I'm gonna head right in here. Here we go. Doesn't look like 160, but I'll take it. And that's how it's done. Go up here where the... See if we can go up here where the gliders are. sliders there. All right. So now we can pop up our handy little motor and go ahead and taxi on over to our park spot here. Looks like we landed on 120 instead of 160. But it seemed to work out okay. See if we can get ourselves parked around here in the right direction. Well, I don't want to come too close to this guy. Whoops, it looks like we're behind somebody. So let's, yeah. All right, let's just leave it right here. So we'll crank the motor down, pull in the speed brakes, put the motor back in its case. We can turn off our gauge there. And we can open up the canopy. And turn off the power. And there we are. The Antares 20E. Hope you enjoyed that. It's always a challenge flying one of these things. Probably the biggest challenge is getting off the ground. But we did it. So I will see you next in episode 2. I don't know yet what that's going to be, but I'll indicate it in the title. And if you have any questions or comments about this aircraft or any other aircraft I fly, by all means, let me know in the comments. And as always, hammer down on that thumbs up, as Stevo Knievo is fond of saying. Appreciate your support, and hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. This is Steve.